Hello again, I'm Stephen Jerome, and I'm going to continue reading from The London Year, my third published novel. You can get it at all the book buying websites. I guess all of them. Go to Amazon, you'll find it there for sure. Okay, this is part 20. Terry is, just for those who are new, Terry Gaines is a 22-year-old American who has arrived in London unexpectedly and has made his way meeting flatmates, Bert and Carlos, two gay guys, and he's got a job at Harrods as well. But we'll continue here. One day, a visitor arrived at the flat and never left. His name was Pavel, an American whose parents were, curiously enough, Czech. This relates to parts of the opening of the novel. Pavel was an acquaintance of Carlos from their hometown in San Francisco. He was traveling slowly around Europe, and we became his latest resting spot. He was around my age, quite pleasant looking, of smaller frame with a very cheery nature, the kind that fitted in everywhere he was. Before I knew it, certainly without consulting me, Carlos announced that Pavel was going to fit in permanently with us. The plan was that he'd sleep platonically in Carlos's big double bed. Meanwhile, he joined us at the Coleherne and at after hours times around our kitchen table. There was something so boyishly charming about him, I didn't think of his presence as an intrusion. Then within a week, Pavel met Jute, a very cute 19-year-old blonde boy from South Africa. They became instant lovers, and then he moved in too. The new plan was that they'd sleep in the hall. A small mattress was acquired, and the two lovebirds made their nests past the door to Carlos's room, further back down the hall towards mine. What made it all palatable at first, in a bohemian sort of way, was that Jute was a genuinely sweet kid, and together he and Pavel made an adorable couple. Love was in bloom, and they were always happy. Carlos and Bert and I were happy to give them their space, even if we had to walk around it, going back and forth to the loo. The love-making that surely went on happened discreetly after hours when the rest of us had gone to bed. Ironically, and in relatively short order, their presence became less awkward than mine. In a much more subtle, dare I say British way, there emerged a class difference between me and my flatmates, an immigration class difference that had escaped me entirely at first. Boiled down, I was in London legally. Bert and Carlos were not. They'd long overstayed their tourist visa, but in any case, the only jobs they could get were under the table. Carlos worked in a tiny wren of a space in the bowels of Victoria Station, a record shop that fit no more than 3 people, including Carlos. He didn't own the shop. I never knew who did. But as the sole employee, it was his by proxy. Yes, he chose the albums they sold, which explained the flat's very good record collection. But he breathed bad air all day and never saw the sun. In terms of a future, those subterranean ant tunnels led to nowhere. He was literally stuck in a hole. Bert worked for a telephone answering service, which even in LA was low-status employment. They had no savings to speak of. Neither of their jobs had benefits, advancement opportunities, or many perks. Even buying a one-way ticket out of England because they wouldn't be allowed back would likely mean arriving home penniless. Pushing 30 and feeling it, they were trapped. Meanwhile, I came back with stories of Lady This and Princess That, and the overall swell environment of Harrods, which I found colorful and interesting. Add the tasty frosted food hall perks, the frozen food department where Terry worked, which I also brought home and was happy to share. Without realizing it, I was putting distance between me and my American friends. Then there was the incident at our kitchen table. One night during an infrequent communal dinner, Carlos said, "You don't have to do that." "Do what?" I didn't know what he was referring to. "You know," he said, nodding at my plate. "I don't know what you mean." "Your knife and fork," Carlos said as Bert looked on with a superior smirk. I still wasn't getting it. "The way you hold them," Carlos said. Then I realized I didn't use the switch hands with the fork American style of eating, and this bothered them. I even had the impression they discussed it privately and finally needed to call me on my airs. "This is how I eat," I said, truly surprised. "I always have." Suddenly the issue was theirs. They were making something out of nothing. "Well, okay," Carlos replied by way of an awkward half-apology, but there wasn't much else to say, but it was one more little sign I didn't fit in. Okay, I'm going to stop there. We'll continue with part 21 shortly. Thank you very much for watching.